Hi, I am Shoma Haldar, science teacher. Today I will teach you the first chapter of Science 1, class 10th standard of SSC board, that is the Maharashtra board. So today I will start with the first chapter, that is the gravitation. In today's lecture, I will start with the first topic, that is the gravitational force. Second topic, centripetal force. Third topic, Kepler's law and relation between the Isaac Newton's next law and the Kepler's third law. So what is gravitation? Gravitation is the word, is a force which is first introduced by the scientist, English scientist Sir Isaac Newton. So how this term gravitational force came to his mind? So one day what happened, let me elaborate it as a story to you so that you can understand better. So one day he was sitting under an apple tree. So what he saw, one apple is coming down, and one thing strike in his mind, why the apple is coming down towards the earth, why it is not going horizontally here and there, why it is not flying away. So from that situation, one thing came in his mind, there must be some force which is attracting that apple towards the center of the earth, towards the surface of the earth. So this force he introduced, or he named that force as the gravitational force. So gravitational force. So he was sitting furthermore, and he saw at the moon also. So he was amazed why the moon is not coming down towards the center of the earth. If there is some force which is attracting everything which is away from the surface of the earth, so why the moon is not coming down towards the earth? So that also came in his mind. So that is also a big thing, and he introduced another force as the centripetal force. So what is the centripetal force? This centripetal force means when any object is rotating around anything, or any object which is moving around the circular motion, there must be some force which attract that object towards the center of the center. This centripetal force again was first introduced earlier, much before Sir Isaac Newton was Johannes Kepler. He was the German scientist. He gave three postulates. I won't tell that theory or the theorem because he could not prove himself that theory. He only introduced his idea. So that's why I gave the term postulate. He gave three postulates which we term as the Kepler's law. But he could not elaborate, or he could not prove mathematically his law, so his law were kept as the postulate. Then later on in the 16th century, Sir Isaac Newton took three laws as the principle of the centripetal force. So with this three laws, he proved these laws mathematically. So this postulate again converted into the theorem. Now I just elaborate this thing, the term centripetal force. Okay, so suppose this is earth and the moon is rotating in a circular motion around the earth. You can understand with a simple example which I am giving you. Just take one stone, tie that stone with a string and just rotate it like this. Okay, what will you find? That stone is rotating above your head in a circular motion. But as soon as you cut the string, that stone will go away tangentially to the circular path, isn't it? So why the stone was in a circular motion as long as it was intact with your hand? That means there must be some force which is been exerted by you to the object, which is imposing it to rotate around the around in a circular motion, isn't it? So that force is known as centripetal force. Suppose this is earth, this is moon. The moon, just now I told, because of the gravitation, the earth has the gravitational force. This question came in Isaac Newton's mind, that why moon is not coming to the earth, as the earth has the gravitational force. So why the moon is not coming to the earth? Because the moon is not stationary, because the moon is in the circular motion, as it is continuously rotating around the earth in a circular path, in a constant, and the direction and the velocity of the moon is constantly changing because of the force which is exerted by the earth to the moon, and that force is known as centripetal force. So not only earth and moon, anything which rotate in a circular motion, in a circular path, exert or feel the centripetal force towards the center, as long as it has been connected to the main center. When you just disconnect the connectivity, that object or the thing will go tangentially away, far away, as the force is been disconnected by you. I have already told you about the centripetal force. Now what is the centripetal force? Just I am revising it up. The force with which anything which is rotating in a circular motion is attracted toward the center, that force is known as centripetal force. With that centripetal force, each and every planet is rotating around the sun in the solar system. Okay, so that is why that question which strike in the Sir Isaac Newton mind, so why the moon is not coming towards the earth, if the earth is pulling the each and everything towards itself by the force of gravitation, and then why the other planet is not coming down towards the sun in the solar system when they are moving around the sun? Because of the centripetal force. And why the centripetal force is acting? As they are moving, they are not in the stationary position. If they are in the stationary position, if there is not changing in their velocity, if there is not changing in their direction, then there won't be any centripetal force. Then they would have come to the surface of the earth. As they are in the moving condition, so they are not coming towards the surface of the earth. With this principle, another scientist already worked before Newton, but he could not clarify his justification because he did not have any instrument at that time. It's about 16th century, so he could not elaborate his postulate in the mathematical form. So his postulate is again been worked on by Sir Isaac Newton later on. So who is that scientist who already introduced this thing? That scientist was Sir Johannes Kepler. Okay, he belongs to Germany. He is from Germany. So his laws we named as Kepler's law. He introduced three laws. First law, Kepler's first law is, he told that each and every planet is rotating around the sun in a circular motion, around the sun in a circular motion in a elliptical path. Suppose this is sun. They are moving around the sun in a circular motion in a elliptical path, not in the perfect circular path. This was the first law given by Sir Kepler, or we can tell it first law of Kepler. Now the second law. Second law, suppose this is one position of the planet at any time. Okay. Suppose at some specific time the planet position is at A, after some time the planet position is at B, at another specific time the planet position at C, and another specific time the planet position is at D. Okay. According to the second law, the line joining the sun and the planet, we name it as suppose R, radius or R. Okay, the line joining any planet and the sun sweeps equal distance in equal interval of time. Suppose this planet moved the area, suppose area 2000 kilometers square. Okay, in 4 hours, suppose. So it will take similar time to sweep the similar area if it is in this position of C and D. Okay, so it will, according to the second law, the line joining the sun and the planet will sweep equal area in equal interval of time in any position around the circular or elliptical path, in the elliptical path. Clear? Now coming to the third law. Just now I told, suppose this is position of the planet at the A position and it sweeps to the B position in due course of time. So again we take the line joining the sun and the planet will be the R. So according to the third law of Kepler's, the square of the time taken by the planet to sweep from one position, suppose from position A to B, is directly proportional to the mean of cube of the radius. Okay, that is, if I write it like this, will be like this. This is the third formula, that is the radius. The mean of the radius means, suppose the distance from the sun and the position A, suppose 4000, here it is suppose 4500. Here the radius will not be same, the distance from the distance from the sun to the position of the planet will dissimilar, as the path is not circular, as the path is elliptical, which we have already taken it from the first law of Kepler's. So suppose here the distance is 6000, so the mean, we will take it out, the mean 4500 plus 4000 plus 6000 divided by 3, that will be the mean distance. Cube of the mean distance will be R cube. चलो ले लेते हैं, let's take. Divided by 3. Okay, so if I divide this 14050 divided by 3, the value will come 4683.3. Okay, so time square will directly proportional to 4683.3, like that. Okay, so we cannot make it as the formula unless and until we put some constant in the place of proportionality sign. So for that we have taken one constant that is K. We name it as the Kepler's constant, and T square upon R cube is equal to K, where K is considered as the Kepler's constant. So this is the third law. This, he had already introduced these three laws long before Isaac Newton has introduced that gravitational force, the centripetal force, but he could not clarify or justify his law, so his law were not taken as the theorem. So later on, Isaac Newton worked on this third law, so that is why the third law is very important. He worked on this third law, considered this third law, and he proved with his formulation. Okay.